But when it comes to death threats, like I'm talking about people who have come down to my address, following me home. Multiple occasions people have made.
What a year. I never could have imagined last bucket of my rookie season would be a 3. But maybe God's saying give them a taste of what they'll be seeing more of in year 2, LOL.
Caitlin Clark became the first ever rookie in WNBA history to record a triple-double twice in the same season.
Breaking news, Angel Reese is out for the year with a season-ending injury, she announced on her social media. But when you have a great skill set, it normally will translate. And her skill set is the ability to go get the basketball.
All right, let's talk about the elephant in the room, Angel Reese and her steroid scandal. We're going to break down everything from her early success to the moment it all came crashing down. You'll see how she went from being the Chicago Sky's great hope to their biggest nightmare. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now back to the video. But that's not all. We'll also dive into the numbers that'll blow your mind. Did you know Reese was only averaging 11.5 points per game even with the steroids? Yeah, it's that bad. By the end of this video, you'll understand why Reese's career might be over before it really began. Remember when Angel Reese was the next big thing in women's basketball? She was lighting up the college scene, and everyone thought she'd dominate the WNBA. Her stats at LSU were jaw-dropping. Reese was averaging 23 points and 15.4 rebounds per game in her final season. That's not just good, that's elite-level play. But you know what's crazy? Her transition to the pros wasn't smooth at all. When Reese joined the Chicago Sky, fans were hyped. They thought they were getting a guaranteed superstar. Instead, they got a rookie who looked lost on the court. Let's break down Reese's early struggles with the Sky. Her shooting was off. Way off. In college, she was hitting 54% of her shots. But in the WNBA, that number plummeted to just 38%. It's like she forgot how to shoot overnight. And it wasn't just her shooting. Her rebounding took a hit too. From grabbing 15 boards a game in college, she was barely managing 7 in the pros.
But when it comes to death threats, like I'm talking about people who have come down to my address, following me home. Multiple occasions people have made. Caitlin Clark became the first ever rookie in WNBA history to record a triple-double twice in the same season.
I'm finally able to give myself a physical and mental break. God gives his hardest battles to his strongest soldiers.
The contrast between her college stats and her WNBA performance was stark. In college, Reese was a double-double machine. She could dominate both ends of the court. But in the WNBA, she was averaging just 11.5 points and 7.2 rebounds per game. That's a massive drop-off. So what made this rising star resort to such desperate measures? The pressure was intense. Reese wasn't just expected to perform well, she was expected to be a superstar from day one. The Chicago Sky had invested heavily in her, making her their first-round draft pick. Fans were comparing her to legends before she even played a pro game. And then there was the Caitlin Clark factor. Clark, Reese's college rival, was tearing it up in her rookie season. While Reese struggled, Clark was breaking rookie records left and right. The comparisons were constant and brutal. Every time Clark had a great game, the pressure on Reese intensified. The expectations were crushing. Reese was supposed to be the face of the franchise, the one to lead the Sky back to championship contention. But instead of living up to the hype, she was falling short in every category. The media scrutiny was relentless. Every missed shot, every lost rebound was analyzed and criticized. While everyone focused on Reese's on-court disappointments, something far more sinister was happening off the court. How did a routine practice suddenly turn into a career-shattering moment for the rookie star, and why did it leave her teammates in utter disbelief? Picture this. It's just another day at Chicago Sky practice. The team's going through drills, working on plays, and then bam! Everything changes in an instant. The coach calls everyone together, and you can feel the tension in the air. That's when the bomb drops. Angel Reese, their star rookie, has been caught using steroids. The locker room erupts into chaos. Teammates are shouting, some are crying, and others are just standing there, stunned. Nobody can believe it. Angel Reese, the girl they've been playing with, eating with, traveling with, has been cheating this whole time. It's like finding out your best friend's been lying to you for months. But here's where it gets wild. Reese wasn't just using any old steroids. She was caught with EPO and anabolic steroids. EPO's the stuff that boosts your red blood cells, making you feel like you could run for days without getting tired. And anabolic steroids? They're all about building muscle fast. We're talking serious performance enhancers here, folks.
Breaking news, Angel Reese is out for the year with a season-ending injury, she announced on her social media. But when you have a great skill set, it normally will translate. And her skill set is the ability to go get the basketball.
And there's a bunch of punk, no good, you know what's out there on the male and female side.
The Chicago Sky officials were quick to respond. They suspended Reese on the spot, no questions asked. Their statement was all about integrity and accountability. You could tell they were trying to distance themselves from the whole mess. The WNBA wasn't far behind, promising a full investigation and stricter drug testing. Now you'd think this is where the story ends, right? Wrong. It gets even crazier. Rumors start flying that coach Teresa Weatherspoon might have known about the steroids. Some are even saying she encouraged Reese to use them. Can you imagine a coach pushing their player to cheat just to win some games? The allegations hit the team like a ton of bricks. Players are looking at each other, wondering who knew what and when. The trust that's so crucial for a team, it's completely shattered. And Reese? She's gone from being the future of the franchise to its biggest liability overnight. Just when you thought Reese hit rock bottom, the ground gave way beneath her feet. The Chicago Sky didn't just cut her loose, they're coming after her with everything they've got. What could make a team turn on their star player so viciously? Let's break down the immediate fallout from Reese's steroid scandal. The WNBA slapped her with a suspension faster than you can say drug test. But that was just the beginning of her problems. Reese's stats, which were already disappointing, took an even bigger nosedive. Before the scandal, she was averaging 11.5 points and 7.2 rebounds per game. After, those numbers dropped to single digits across the board. But here's where things get really wild. The Chicago Sky didn't waste any time showing Reese the door. They terminated her contract quicker than a ref calling a technical foul. And we're not talking about a small-time deal here. Reese's base salary was $73,439, plus all those sweet endorsement deals she had lined up. Gone. Poof. Just like that. You know what's even crazier? The Sky wasn't content with just firing Reese. They decided to hit her where it really hurts. Her wallet. The team filed a lawsuit against her for breach of contract. Can you imagine? 1 minute you're the face of the franchise, the next you're getting sued by the very team that drafted you. This lawsuit isn't just about money though. It's about sending a message. The Sky is basically telling every player in the league, if you cheat, we'll make you pay. And pay Reese will if they win this case. We're talking potentially millions in damages, sponsorship losses, and legal fees. But wait, there's more drama coming Reese's way. Remember that game against the New York Liberty? The one where she got ejected for disrespecting the officials? Yeah, that's coming back to haunt her too.
What a year. I never could have imagined last bucket of my rookie season would be a 3. But maybe God's saying give them a taste of what they'll be seeing more of in year 2, LOL.
On the debut episode, co-host Maya Reese, who is Angel's cousin, quick hitter number 3, goes to Chicago Sky rookie forward Angel Reese, who has a new weekly podcast called Unapologetically Angel.
The league's looking at that incident with new eyes now, wondering if the steroids played a role in her behavior. So, how did Reese respond to all this? Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? With her career in shambles, her reputation in tatters, and a massive lawsuit hanging over her head, Reese has got some tough choices to make. Will she fight back, try to clear her name, or is this the end of the road for what could have been one of the WNBA's brightest stars? While Reese's future hung in the balance, a shockwave rippled through the entire WNBA. From locker room chaos to plummeting viewership, the scandal's impact reached far beyond one player. But here's the kicker. Could this controversy actually lead to positive change? Let's talk about how this mess hit the Chicago Sky. Imagine being on that team right now. One day you're playing with a rising star, the next you're wondering if anything was real. The locker room? Total chaos. Players are pointing fingers, Trust is out the window, and team morale? It's in the gutter. The Sky's performance took a nosedive faster than Reese's career. They went from playoff contenders to struggling just to stay competitive. But this drama didn't stop with the Sky. The whole WNBA felt the heat. Other players? They're furious. Some are calling for lifetime bans for steroid users. Others are worried about guilt by association. Even Caitlin Clark, Reese's old rival, spoke up. She said this scandal hurts everyone in the league and sets women's basketball back years. You know what's really wild? The fans are jumping ship. WNBA viewership is tanking. We're talking double-digit drops in ratings. Sponsors are getting nervous too. Some are even threatening to pull out if the league doesn't clean up its act. It's like the Reese scandal opened up a can of worms nobody was ready for. So what's this mean for the WNBA's future? Well, they're not taking this lying down. The league's rolling out new drug testing policies that'll make players think twice before even looking at a steroid. We're talking more frequent tests, harsher penalties, and even year-round random checks. They're going all out to restore trust in the game. But it's not just about catching cheaters. The WNBA is also focusing on education. They're bringing in experts to talk to players about the dangers of performance-enhancing drugs. They're even considering making it part of rookie orientation. The message is clear: cheat and you're out. So what's the deal with Angel Reese? Her story is like a roller coaster that went off the rails. From college superstar to WNBA bust to steroid user. It's a wild ride. And you know what's crazy? She says she'll take the bad guy role, but can she really bounce back from this? Look, sports are tough. The pressure to perform is insane. But taking shortcuts? That's a one-way ticket to Troubletown. Reese found that out the hard way. Now the whole WNBA is feeling the heat. New drug tests, stricter rules, it's a whole new ball game. Will we ever see Reese on a WNBA court again? Who knows? But one thing's for sure, women's basketball will never be the same after this mess.